first thing in the morning, if you want to do a fasted cardio, this could be like our fat loss period where we're solely focused on burning body fat. And then we can have our post-workout or our first meal of the day, and then another meal, and then this can be our building phase of training. So this is going to be the anabolic building phase, this is going to be the fat loss phase, and the nutrition and the supplements that are built around that are going to be supportive of the overall goal, which is fat loss.
Got it.
And then here is going to be a recovery meal, and then maybe at the end of the day is going to be a protein, like a protein, fat, and vegetable meal, which kind of puts you into that low glycemic, low carbohydrate. It gets you ready for throughout the night where you're going to be fasting. You get up in the morning and you're going to be in that state where you can be burning body fat first thing when you do your cardio.
Because you don't have the glycogen stores to burn through
so you
those
should
first.
see like pretty drastic results in fat loss, especially cool. coupled with the new phase of training that we're going to be implementing, which is just another form of fat loss, but it's periodized in a way where we're going to be doing agonist supersets. So it'll be, let's say for example, back squats, 10 seconds rest, and then leg press for 20 reps, and then you get 2 minutes rest, and then you repeat that.
Oh, cool.
So for 6 to 8 exercises.
I like that. That's going to be phase 2, guys. Because right now we're still in phase 1, and we're kind of talking about what we're going to do on the next phase.
Implementing cardio.
Implementing a little bit of cardio, because I'm a psycho and I actually like cardio.
It's not a bad thing.
It's weird, but 20 minutes of cardio just makes me feel super good.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be extensive because you still are going to be fasting, so you don't want to get into that catabolic state where you're extending your cardio first thing in the morning, because we don't have any nutrients in the body, so you want to keep that short and sweet, where we're going to be tapping into fat, and then we break out of that. We eat our first meal, we eat our second meal to set our training up to build some lean muscle mass and strength, and then we can support that post-workout meal, and then we have that last meal of the day to kind of get back into the fasting state while you're sleeping, and then wake up and go at it again.
That works perfect for me. And I feel like now that this phase, we're in the last week, I already feel like my body's kind of like adapted to it. I actually feel stronger in like a lot of the exercises we've been doing, the squats and everything. So I'm pretty ready to like take it up a notch. I'm such an extremist. But today, you guys, we're going to be talking briefly about the supplements that I'm taking intra and post-workout. But we're gonna talk about the pre-workout supplements, and then we're gonna work out, because I already had like my MCT oils and my pre-workouts. Not that they don't have caffeine. I mean, the caffeine I got from the coffee, but the supplements that I'm taking, they don't have any stimulants, which is for a reason. So we're gonna talk about that. But anyway, I want to use it to perform, so that's why we're gonna talk about the post-workout ones and the intra ones during the workout, kind of like we would just in general, the series of events as we're already, doing everything. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm tired today. But okay, let's do this.
When you're looking at supplements, you want to look at what is the end result that you want to get, and you kind of work backwards. So when we originally sat down, we were going over everything. The goal was to lose a little bit of body fat, get down into the range that you want to be in, also build strength and some lean muscle mass. So when we were designing the training program, the first phase of training, what are some supplements that we can take that are going to accelerate progress? Because remember, training, just physical activity and focusing on eating whole foods, real whole foods, is going to initiate your progress. But if you want to step it up a level, having like a periodized training program and then the nutrition and supplementation to coincide with it will accelerate things even further.
Yeah, so supplements are what take things to the next level. They're not necessary per se, but if you want that like extra edge, right? That's when you implement your supplements.
Yeah, exactly.
For recovery and all that.
So with you, the goal was to get down to 16 to 18% body fat from where you're at. And the supplements that we're going to be using to accelerate the progress from the German body composition training program are going to be things that are going to help with lipolysis. So that's basically taking fatty acids, using fatty acids in the bloodstream to be used as fuel, and that's what adipolytic does. So the L-carnitine is Go ahead.
Yes.
So that is a stimulant-free.
So it's stimulant-free, but it's
stimulant-free, but it's used for pre-workout fat burning, fat metabolism. So L-carnitine is one of those things that will help with the transportation of fatty acids to be used in the bloodstream as fuel. And then it also has raspberry ketones and green coffee extract. So all things that have been researched to help with the support of increasing metabolism, losing weight.
And just added antioxidants and stuff like that.
Antioxidants,
too, right?
stabilizing blood sugar. Yeah, it's a phenomenal product. So it's one that we've been using pre-training to support fat loss with the German body composition program, which creates this crazy amount of lactic acid, and we'll talk about that with the ENOS supplement, because the way that we're training, we have high reps, very short rest intervals, lots of time under tension, so we create this like lactic acid, which is like the burning sensation where you just can't push anymore, and it's this crazy feeling that you're getting from these high reps and the time under tension. And the ENOS supplement has a supplement in there called beta-alanine, and beta-alanine is what helps buffer that lactic acid, so it gives your body that perception that you can push longer and harder with less fatigue, because it's releasing and getting rid of all that lactic acid that's accumulating in your muscles.
Got it.
Yeah, and then the other supplements in there like citrulline and agmatine, those help with blood flow, so they're vasodilators, so they expand your blood vessels and they drive nutrients into the blood, so they create like you can create like a super compensation effect, and that's what like the pump comes from, because that's
why it's called AG Mass. It's like their trademarked compound, right?
Yeah,
I like that. So I have a question. You know how certain pre-workouts have like whatever makes you tingly? What is that called again?
That's beta-alanine.
That's beta-alanine. Okay, beta-alanine. I thought it was beta-alanine, but I didn't want to say that wrong. So does that, I find that this one doesn't really make me tingly though.
Yeah,
for me it doesn't.
The way that it's combined, it's with all those other nutrients in there, it's like the perfect blend. So some people will take, just beta-alanine on its own, and the dosages are really high, and then they'll get the tingly sensations in their face or all over their body.
Totally.
Yeah, so with this, you don't really have that dramatic effect from it.
Yeah, and also what I love is that, again, you already have like your coffee. Most people have coffee in the morning. Most people already have caffeinated beverages. So I like having a pre-workout blend that doesn't have caffeine, because then you're just overdosing and then you're taxing your adrenals, which later on can turn into all sorts of problems. Like I know your thyroid's related to your adrenals and stuff like that too. So the function of all that stuff, right?
Yeah, and adrenals are like, they're literally like the size of like a walnut that sit on top of your kidneys, and they produce like all of your hormones. So think of how important those are to preserve, and the more stimulants you use over time, the more stress that is imposed on the adrenal glands, that they get to a point where they'll stop producing one of the most important hormones that we make, which is cortisol, which is a stress hormone, but it's kind of like that double-edged sword. Like we want to have cortisol first thing in the morning because there's a natural circadian rhythm.
It wakes you up.
So it wakes you up. It should be the highest between the hours of 6 to 8 a.m. And then throughout the day, cortisol is going to drop off. It's going to be the lowest by about 10 p.m. And then our bodies are going to produce melatonin through other neurotransmitters like serotonin.
Yeah.
But if your cortisol is elevated in the evening, it's going to stop all of that other production. And that's where people will have like a really, really challenging time going to bed. Like their mind is racing 100 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
They can't shut it off. That's cortisol elevated in the evening.
And that's why you don't really want to train. I mean, if that's the only time you can work out at night, but it can.
Yeah, but let's talk about that, because if training in the evening is the only time that you can get in after work or whatever, the first thing that you're going to want to do is bring cortisol levels down post-workout. The fastest way to do that is with some carbohydrates in your post-workout shake. Vitamin C will help, or there's another supplement called phosphatidylserine, which will drop cortisol levels by about 50%.
Nice.
So if
nighttime training.
Yeah, if you have, for example, if you have a really, really challenging time waking up first thing in the morning, that's an indication that your adrenal glands aren't producing enough cortisol to get you out of bed and give you the energy you need to rise.
Got it.
Okay, so that's where like the Himalayan salt and the salt water comes in because the minerals in the Himalayan salt help stimulate the adrenal glands, but they also support it with the nutrients that it needs and the minerals it needs. Okay, there's other supplements that you could take that will help jack that up and then prolong the cortisol, like the half-life of it. ATP has a supplement called Adrenergic, which has licorice root extract in it, which is the most studied adaptogenic herb to help with adrenal gland function of raising cortisol first thing in the morning. Then it prolongs it, and then it helps it come down to match that natural circadian rhythm.
That is crazy.
So if you have trouble waking up in the morning, you hit the snooze button, that might be something you want to look into. But on the flip side, if your circadian rhythm is like off and your mind's racing 100 miles an hour, you're going to want to bring cortisol levels down as fast as possible in the evening so that you can actually get it into a deep sleep, because that's when we're going to be recovering the best.
I'm more of a, like, I need help in the morning, so that's why the Himalayan salt in the morning helps, because that way it kind of like snaps me into, okay, it's time to wake up, get my cortisol, my natural cortisol high, right?
Yeah.
And then at night I have no problem going to sleep. So in that sense, I prefer to not train at night. I prefer to get my workout in sometime, not first thing in the morning. Like I could do cardio first thing, but I like to train right now, which is 11 a.m. Yeah. Perfect for me.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's probably
the most ideal time to train would be about like 3 hours after waking up. That's when like testosterone levels are typically going to be the highest in the day, and testosterone is obviously an anabolic building hormone, so we're going to want that elevated when we train.
So I wake up at 8.
Yeah, because that's going to support the whole training process of building lean muscle mass, and then you're going to want to bring the cortisol levels down because there's this testosterone cortisol ratio. So about after 45 minutes of training, testosterone levels start to drop, cortisol levels start to rise.
Oh my gosh.
So after an hour, you basically kind of screwed yourself over as far as training goes, because cortisol levels start to elevate.
So that's why you don't want to train like for 5 hours.
Right, which we just did this past weekend, which was insane.
Oh and they just had a training seminar, which I mean, I think there's a time and place. And also if you're training for a specific goal, like when I was competing, there was a time and place where I probably needed to be in the gym a little longer. Maybe I didn't need to, but maybe that was the mentality that forced me to kind of take it to the next level. I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea. What do you think about that?
It's just a different system, a different way of doing things, and that's what keeps us, educated is going through the process of learning what other people are using. So I'll never hate on anybody for having, their own system and being able to speak on why it's producing the results that they're getting, as long as they're able to, speak about the theory behind it and they have the education behind it.
And as long as they're doing the proper supplementation, the proper recovery through whole foods, like you said, everything like that plays a huge role, because you can't expect to train for 2 or 3 hours and not have the nutrition and the supplementation to back it up and be able to like survive.
Yeah, and you can't, my big thing is like you can't out supplement a bad diet. It's diet's number one, get on the right foods, and then once you've dialed that in, which could be the hardest thing out of anything, and you can usually see the most dramatic results just changing your nutrition. Yeah. Not even training. And just starting to eat real good food and staying away from that processed stuff and inflammation. People will lose weight just from the inflammation that decreases in their bodies from eating all the processed foods. Yeah. You can see really dramatic results in a short period of time just eating whole foods. And then, like we talked about at the very beginning, that's what's going to accelerate. The supplements will accelerate the results and take you to the next level. Agreed completely. Yeah. So that's like kind of the pre-workout, and then with the MCT oils, which we talked about on the last video, but it's basically going to help, again, shuttle your fat store, or not shuttle your fat stores. It's going to help you utilize your fat stores for fuel. Right? Yep. And it's like the L-carnitine. I'm speaking on this and understanding it in a more scientific way. So basically the L-carnitine is helping the MCT oils get shuttled into use for energy. Yeah, it's used as in the transport of fatty acids to be used in the bloodstream as fuel. Got it. So that's a really good blend there. So that's our pre-workout. And then was there anything else? It's not over the top. It's simple. Pretty simple, straightforward. Yeah, and then essential amino acids. So we'll be using essential amino acids pre and during the training session.
I have and the BCAAs.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So the BCAAs are 3 of the 8 essential amino acids.
Okay.
So what you want to create is this broad spectrum of aminos, because that's the only building macronutrient, right? So while we're training and during training, that's the most important time to fuel your body with everything it needs to help with the shuttle of nutrients into the muscle cells that are being opened up every time you're contracting a muscle and we're training.
Got it.
Very intensely.
So it's like you're fueling it right away.
Exactly. Yeah, so in my opinion,
super important.
Intra-workout is the most important time.
For BCAAs?
Yeah, so BCAAs and essential aminos. So if you were to choose, what to take and when, it would be the intra-workout supplements, which are going to be the essential aminos, additional BCAAs, and some glutamate, which is just glutamine and glycine. So glutamine is an adaptogen which can help with refueling glycogen stores in the muscle and the liver. It also helps with hydrating the muscles. And then glycine helps with liver detoxification. So those combined are kind of like that perfect blend on top of the myoprime, which is the creatine, and the HMB that it has in it is leucine. Leucine is like the most anabolic of all the amino acids.
Got it.
So we want to be taking that during training to help support the muscle building.
L-leucine?
L-leucine, the muscle building process.
Got it. So I'll make sure to write down all like the supplements that I'm taking right now for this first phase, and then going into the next phase, we'll do that as well. But if there's like a specific product that we mention on the list that you're not too sure what it is, I'm also going to put the link for ATP Labs, and then you guys can read on it. It's what's awesome on the website is that they actually have like standard packages where they're like fat loss, and they give you kind of like good ideas on what to get in terms of like packages, and then like muscle. I mean, they're probably not exactly how I'm mentioning it, but it's like muscle growth, or they have different categories. Yeah. So that's great because that can give you kind of an idea, but also what we're doing is very like standard to my personal goals. So if you find that you have similar goals, these might be like very beneficial for you as well. So I say we train.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I have the myoprime in here, which is the creatine blend, and then what I didn't get from my supplement order yet is the glutamine. So I'm stealing some of Malcolm's. And I also have my BCAAs and EAAs in there. All right, I have my post-workout in a tiny little bag, which is the New Zealand way. Do you have the chocolate one here?
I don't have the chocolate, but just
okay. But here's the reference. This one's organic dark chocolate. And sometimes you guys see, I post on my Instagram stories that I have the organic vegan blend often. But I find that if I'm gonna just have like a really quick post-workout protein and I don't have ice, then I like to just do the New Zealand way. I feel like it goes down a little bit easier. They both do. They both taste really good. But anyways, just personal preference. So I basically just mix it up in my water and the remaining glutamine and stuff that I had in there. And that is it. That was a good workout. Thank you so much, Malcolm. That was really good. I actually feel like I'm getting stronger. Week 3.
Weights are up on everything.
Right? Weights went up. What do you feel like I need to work the most on? Like which body part? Does it, like, is there one specifically that I haven't gained as much strength?
Probably the alternating lunge, but that's still a pretty challenging exercise to do for 12 reps per leg.
More like fatigue and also
more fatigue. Yeah. A lot of, like because there's so many reps, it's almost like you're doing cardio as well.
That's probably what it is. Maybe once I increase my cardio for the next phase, then I'll be like, yes, I can handle this. But anyway, that was really good. Thank you guys for watching. We didn't cover every single supplement that I'm taking because otherwise it would have been a really long video, but we did talk about creatine. So one of these days I'm going to post a video on whether it's smart for women to also take creatine, like whether it's okay for women to take creatine as well, right? So we covered that, and we covered all the other like pre and intra workout supplements. But if you guys have any questions, leave a comment below. I'm still out of breath from the workout. But make sure to tune in next week because we're gonna be doing our body fat testing again next week, and then it's gonna be a whole new program. So you won't wanna miss it. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.